ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ ध्यायामि चिन्मयानन्दं गुरुदेवं महामतिं प्रेमपूर्णं क्रियाशीलं सदा लोकहिते रतं कृपालुं सुन्दराकारं समर्थं सत्यदर्शिनं वाचा तत्त्वप्रकाशिन्या शोकमोहविनाशिनम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। 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 ॐ ऋतगं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः। ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात्। Hari Om, Suprabhatam, a warm welcome to today's session. Om Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. Om शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिहृद्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 36 ॐ स्कन्दस्कन्दधरो धुर्यो वरदो वायुवाहनः वासुदेवो बृहद्भानुरादिदेवः पुरन्दरः अशोकस्तारणस्तारः शूरः शौरिर्जनेश्वरः अनुकूलः शतावर्त Padmavastaf Padmi Padmanibhekshanah Padmanabhoravindakshaf Padmagarbha Sharirabhrite Mahardhirdho Vridhatma Mahaksho Garudadhvajah. Yesterday we have seen 5 namas of the shloka, and we will now continue with the 6th nama, Riddha. Acharya Shankara describes this as Prapancha Rupena Vardhamanatvat Riddha, the one who has grown or expanded in the form of the very universe. Very common, we also use the word Vriddhi to indicate prosperity, to indicate growth, to indicate expansion. This is to indicate Bhagavan is not expanding or actually grown in the way we understand. What we understand probably might be that Bhagavan was small earlier and then he went on growing and then he became all-pervading. No. The very nature of Bhagavan is all-pervasiveness. Sarva Vyapakatvat Brahma. And grown, when it is said, it is only to indicate that he is the ultimate grown everywhere, expanded everywhere. That is why grown, past tense, or expanded is given to indicate right from the beginning he was completely all-pervasive. There is no deficiency whatsoever. Therefore, he is called as Riddha. And the next nama, Vridhatma. Vridha Atma. Vridha, when we say, normally we attribute that to old age. That is why we have Vridha Purusha, Vridhashrama ityadi. But what does a Vridha word indicate here? Vridha Atma Swarupaha yasya iti Vridhatma. Swarupaha here is what? Nature. What is the nature of anything? Nature of a thing is the very being, is the very isness, is the very existence of the thing. This we had discussed day before yesterday. Anything which is the existence is always existent, has no beginning or end. Existent, previously we may say. It will come to being, we may say. But Bhagavan is the very existence. When we say existence, then it is eternal. It is Anadi Ananta Swarupa nature. Like for example, we always give the example, water. The very nature of water is H2O. This is water. It has been right from the beginning. What gets contaminated with that is different. But water, when we say, H2O is the very nature of water. When did H2O become like that? No. Right from the Srishti itself, H2O was water. That is the very nature. Similarly, Swarupaha, when it is said, Bhagavan Swarupa is Vridhaha, ancient being, primordial being, the ultimate self, who is beyond the concept of time. Vridha normally is indicated with reference to time. He is a very elderly person. He is an aged person. When we say, our reference is time. He took birth at a particular period of time. Now he is 85 years old. Therefore, he is an old man. Vridha. When we say, with reference to time. Whereas here, Bhagavan, Acharya Shankara very clearly indicates, Swarupaha yasya iti Vridhatma. That primordial being. Anadi Ananta Brahma Swarupa Atma. Mahakshaha. What is Mahakshaha? Akshaha means eyes. Maha Akshaha, when we say, it can mean big eye or it can mean great eyes. What does Acharya say? Mahati Akshini, Mahanti Akshiniva. He is big and great. What does that mean? Our personified Bhagavan also has got similar eyes, only like how we all have. What is the greatness in that? The idea is the vision through the eyes. Maha Akshini, when it is said, he has got big eyes who can see everything, who is able to grasp everything, who is able to see through everything. Parampuja Gurudev Swami Chimananji very often used to say, you look at many things, but you don't see anything. Why? While the eyes are looking, the mind is absent. Whereas Bhagavan, when he sees through. One. Not only the physical aspect of this universe does he see, he also sees the attitudes which are there behind the physical eye. You and I can see so many things, but we won't know what is the attitude behind. We get deceived. We get fooled by outer presentation. That is why very beautiful statement I read somewhere. Man, woman included, please note always, man judges more in appearance than in penetration. Very many times we get misled, we get carried away, we get distracted by whatever we see in the world outside. And we imagine something, we judge something, most of the time wrongly only. Occasionally by mistake it becomes correct. That is why there is one very beautiful saying. I often use my Matrubhasha because it is easier, but it is there in all the bhashas. Kannal kanbadum poi, kadal ketpadum poi, tira visarippade mei is a very beautiful statement in Tamil bhasha. Kannal, kan means eye. Kanbadum poi. Very many times what we see pratyaksha in front of our eyes can be false. It can be deception. Kadal, kad means ear. Ketpadumpai, very many times what we listen to is wrong information only. Now see what is happening in the world in the name of Corona. The way the media, hypes for its TRP. Giving such wrong information and misleading people, creating fear in the people just for the sake of their own udaranimitam. Think. And people are so misled that they can't take decisions. In fact, we in the sense, my Guru Parampuja Swami Chidananji, and we are also going for a camp at Lonavala at the end of this month. So many people are not willing to come because they are scared of the corona, which has been hyped in the TV. Actually speaking, it is not the case. Everything is fine, except for stray incidents. That is there. We cannot totally say it is wrong. But what is truth is something totally different from what is being projected in the media. Therefore, very many times what we listen to is not wrong information. It's not right information. Therefore, we need to go see through. We have to see what is the truth behind it. We have to go further, deeper inside and check. Mahakshaha, when it is said, Bhagavan is one who goes to the deepest and understands what is the real truth in every aspect of this universe. Therefore, he is Mahakshaha. Another is Mahanti Akshaha. Mahanti Akshini meaning what? He is a great eye. Means he not only sees through what is the truth behind, he also sees the attitudes, and when he sees the attitudes, in spite of whatever the attitude could be, out of his own compassion, Karunamayi Bhagavan protects every devotee. Not because of what they are, but in spite of what they are. We all claim ourselves to be devotees, but how many of us are fooling ourselves in that very name? Think. Udara nimittam bahukrita veshaha, it is said. And everybody quotes that. Loosely everybody quotes also. But then what is the truth behind? Bhagavan understands. Bhagavan understands these are all nothing but the eruption of one's own vasanas. And he helps true devotees to cross over, to move forward. And he helps in reducing the intensity of those vasanas and slowly increase the depth of bhakti, depth of knowledge, and he helps in the transformation of the inner being, of the mind, of the intellect, of the mama, chitta, hankara. All these are beautifully molded by Bhagavan through what? Through blessing with karma phala only. Therefore, he is able to see again, he has a great vision for every devotee. What is the great vision? For them to understand their own true nature. This is the very purpose. Therefore, he is called Mahakshaha. Continuing, Garuda Dhvajaha. Dhvajaha means flag. Garuda, of course, we know, the Vahana of Mahavishnu. Dhvajaha is that which represents the nation. For example, Indian flag, the orange, white and green with that chakra in between, indicates the glory of India, our Punya Bhumi Bharata. Like that, similarly, in all the countries, their flag represents the very nation. Therefore, respect to the flag is primordial importance. That is why in India, August 15th or 26th of January, we celebrate it by hoisting the flag. And so many other occasions also, in parades, etc., the flag is hoisted, and the flag, when it is hoisted, the whole people who are around stand still in respect, stands in attention position, Savdhan. That is the respect. When we give respect to the flag, we respect the very nation. Today, not very many people understand this concept of a flag. Dhvaja represents Desha. Therefore, we must respect Dhvaja. Garuda Dhvaja, when it is said, Bhagavan has got a Dhvaja with Garuda in it. Why Garuda? Like for example, Arjuna's Ratha has got Anjaneya as in the Dhvaja. Here Garuda. Why Garuda? Garuda is a beautiful bird which can see, penetrate in its vision, and it can come down, pick up the dirt and go away. It can clean the place. This is the nature of Garuda. So Garuda Dhvajaha, when it is said, Bhagavan, the indication is Bhagavan will come down to any level to clean the mind of his devotees. Now please note, whenever we say his devotees, all of us claim to be devotees, but how sincere we are is a questionable thing. When we say Bhagavan's devotees, he respects the sincere devotion. The more deeper our devotion is, the closer is Bhagavan with us. Then one may question, Swamiji, does that mean Bhagavan is also partial? No. Bhagavan is not partial. Bhagavan expects us to grow from our own self and become a great devotee so that we go closer and closer to him. The greatest devotion of a bhakta is when the bhakta dissolves and there is only Bhagavan. That is the highest form of bhakti. In fact, among all the branches of sadhana, bhakti reva gariyasi. In the Narada Bhakti Sutra, Narada very beautifully says, 2 times he repeats that bhakti reva gariyasi, bhakti reva gariyasi. There is nothing beyond bhakti. Then what about jnanam? In fact, jnanam is also one notch below the ananya bhakti. Jnanam should give that ananya bhakti. Therefore, bhakti is ultimate. Jnana devatu kaivalyam. But jnanam, once it is got, it transforms. It fructifies itself to become great bhakta. Because there is only Bhagavan. Bhakta dissolves that identity of a bhakta also and merges one with Bhagavan. Therefore, Bhagavan comes down to any level to help the bhakta to grow. And for that, he requires a right vision, and therefore, Garuda Dhvajaha, who has got penetrating vision. And then he comes down and then he takes the bhakta to himself. Garuda Dhvajaha. Garudankaha Dhvajaha yasya iti Garuda Dhvajaha. The one who has Garuda on his flag. In fact, this is to indicate. What is the indication here? My dear Bhakta, become purer. Become purer. What do you mean by purer? Kaya, Vang, Manaha. In all the 3, become clear. What is clear? Clarity should be that Bhagavan alone is permanent. This Mithya Jagat is impermanent. Don't run behind that. This is the greatest clarity and this is the greatest purity also. What is purity? Purity is Swabhava, nature. Anything other than that is impurity. And what is the purity here? Bhagavan eva satyam, Brahma satyam, Jagan mithya. So his teaching, we may say so, is to make us become pure, think clearly, and therefore the clear vision is also indicated. Continuing. Atula sharabho bhima samayajno havirharihi sarva lakshana lakshanyo lakshmivan samitinjayah. Atula sharabho bhima samayajno havirharihi sarva lakshana lakshanyo lakshmivan samitinjayah. 8 namas in the shloka begins with Atulaha. What is Atulaha? Tula upamanam asya na vidyate iti Atulaha. Tula upamanam. There is no other equal to Bhagavan. Why do you say there is no equal or comparison to Bhagavan? Because Bhagavan is a primordial being. First one. Second, Bhagavan is everything. There is no second to him. Advaitam. Isn't it? Na dvaitam vidyate. Na dvitiyam vidyate. There is no second. When it is said there is no second, now understand it in 2 different standpoints. One from the Laukika standpoint, the other one is the Paramarthika standpoint. Even in the Laukika standpoint, other than Bhagavan, everything is limited. Everything has a boundary. Whereas Bhagavan is unlimited. Bhagavan is unconditional. Bhagavan is everything. Therefore, when it is everything, including space. Now when we say Sarva Vyapi, one who is all pervading, to have a comparison, there must be other than Bhagavan to compare. There must be two, minimum two for comparison. There is no two at all. Therefore, where can there be a comparison? This is the highest standpoint. From our Laukika standpoint also, Bhagavan is the ultimate. Who can be? In fact, here is a very beautiful shloka from the Bhagavad Gita. Pitasi lokasya characharasya tvamasya pujyascha gururgariyan na tvat samaha asti abhyadikaha. I cut the compound there. Na tvat samaha abhyatikaha kutaha anyaha asti. Where can there be anything beyond you, Bhagavan? Lokatraye api. In all the three worlds, apratima prabhavaha. You are that prabhava, you are that ultimate. You are that glorious one. Therefore, kutaha anyaha asti. Where can there be anything? Natvat samaha. Therefore, he is called Atulaha. He is one who is incomparable. Sharabaha, the next word. What is Sharabaha? Sharaha Sharirani. Sharaha means Sharira. Sharaha plural, Sharirani, all the bodies. Shiryamanatvat. Shiryamanaha means what? The nature of decaying. Shiryamanatvat. Shariraha, now please note, this body is able to function in the world outside, is able to contact with the world outside, is able to work in the world outside. Because of what? Because of the presence of Bhagavan, the life principle within the body. A body which has lived in this world for, let us say, 90 years, 98 years, or even more than 100 years. Such a body is able to function efficiently for so many years, but the moment that life principle goes away, within 48 hours it will start stinking. It will start decomposing. It will start dismantling. Is it not? We have, even if we have to keep the body, which is not advisable. In fact, according to Shastra, within 3 hours the body has to be cremated. Otherwise, it is a disrespect to the body. This is what Shastra say. Even if we freeze the body, if we keep the body in the freezer, how long can you keep? Inside the freezer it will decompose. That is the power of decomposition. Think. Everything will shrink. Everything will become, completely different, you can see. When within 2-3 days, 2-3 days is too much actually. It will start decomposing from that very moment. It will manifest, the decomposing will manifest after 2 days. It will start stinking also. But as long as the life principle is there, the body is functioning. Is it not? People who are 90 years old are able to walk in the world, in the park and in the roads, they go for walking. 90, 95, 96 years. In fact, my own grandfather was 96 years old and he used to walk without a stick. The moment the life principle goes over, Swami Vivekananda cannot speak a word. Swami Chinmayananda cannot speak a word. Think. Abraham Lincoln, Einstein cannot give one formula. Think. One word, one akshara. Why? Shariramanam. Bhagavad Gita says, Najayate mriyate va kadachit Nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyah Ajo nityan shashvatoyam purana na hanyate hanyamane sharire. It is sharira which is hanyamanaha, which is perishable. Therefore, shiryamanatvat shariraha, but that sharira is being able to function in the world because of what? Teshu, in that sharira, pratyagatmataya, because of the presence of pratyagatma, that ultimate reality, Bhagavan. Pratyagatmataya bhati iti sharabaha. This Bhagavan who pratyagatmataya, as the very inner self of the being, bhati, shines. And as long as he shines, he is called as sharabaha. Continuing. Bhimaha or abhimaha. Very interesting. This word is very beautiful. Now, what is that? Atula Sharabho Bhima Samayagno Havirharihi. The first line. Atulaha Sharabho Bhimaha. There can be a presence of an avagraha, or there need not be an avagraha. Because when we chant it together, Atula Sharabho Bhima. When we chant it together, it appears as though Sharabho Bhima is one word. There can be an avagraha, there need not be. We will see both. The first one is Bhimaha. Bibheti asmat sarvamiti Bhimaha. One who is feared by all. What do we mean by feared by all? There are two meanings to it. One is Bhagavan as the commander and in chief of the whole universe is fearful whenever we go unrighteous. Bhagavan punishes, it is said. Therefore, he is fearful. Bhimaha. And the other meaning is Sanmargavartinam. The one who is in the righteous path. Sanmargavartinam abhimaha itiva. To the people who are walking in the righteous path, we don't have to fear. There are two things. One is called being afraid of. And the second one is having respect for. Gaurava, we call. Like for example, our own superiors, whoever they may be, whatever the position they may be, definitely we have to surrender to them and take their instructions, learn, work and grow. This is how the world runs. We must have respect, reverence to our superiors and love them definitely and learn from them. This love, respect, reverence and the ability to learn from them, we respect for what? For their age or for their experience or for their knowledge. It can be any of them or it can be all of them. Reverence, respect, etc. are different. Fear is different. Fear comes only when we go unrighteous. Fear only comes when we make mistakes. Fear only comes when we are not walking on the right path. Otherwise, there is no need to fear. Because Bhagavan is Prema Swarupaha. Bhagavan is Sukha Swarupaha. Therefore, we don't have to fear him. We must have respect. This respect when we have, there is no fear. Abhayam pratishtham vindate. But when we are not working properly, when we are not in the righteous path, when we take adharma in our life, then yes, we have to fear. We have to be afraid of. Why? Bhagavan will punish in the form of our own karma phala. Therefore, he is Bhimaha and he is also Abhimaha. Continuing. Samayajnaha. This is another very beautiful nama of Bhagavan. Srishti Sthiti Samhara Samayavit. With means to know. That is why Vidwan. With to know. What is that he knows? Samayavit. The one who knows the time. Time for what? Srishti Sthiti Samhara. At what time there should be Srishti? How long should that Srishti continue? And when should that Srishti be dissolved? All these the Srishti Karta Bhagavan knows very clearly. One who knows the exact time for creation, the duration for preservation, and the time of destruction. Samayajnaha. Samayajnaha. Nyaha means the one who knows, the knowledgeable of what? Samaya. This is one meaning of Samayajnaha. Another meaning would be Sarva Bhuteshu Samatvam Yajanam Sadhu Asya Itiva Samayajnaha. The one who has the same vision, equal vision with Sarva Bhuteshu. Bhagavan looks at everybody equally. If at all there is differences what we see, it is our own way of utilizing the ability of our intellect. Our inability to use the intellect properly, or the ability to use the intellect properly and function efficiently in the world outside, brings in differences. But the capacity is one and the same. Ability all of us have got. Think. Therefore, Samayajnaha here refers to Sarva Bhuteshu Samatvam. He looks at everybody equally. He has no partiality. He has no conditions. He is unconditional. Asya itiva Samayajnaha. In the Vishnu Purana it is said, looking upon all beings as equal. This particular statement is from the Vishnu Purana. And the Purana very clearly says, Sarva Bhuteshu Samatvam. Right? Another very beautiful meaning of the Samayajnaha. Shat Samayat Janati itiva Samayajnaha. Shat Samayat meaning what? 6 systems in the philosophy of warfare. What is this warfare? Specific is given. Philosophy of warfare refers to the rules and regulations of warfare. The way a war is to be conducted. The knowledge of the philosophy of Yuddha. And Bhagavan is one who knows all these 6 systems of philosophy of warfare. What are these 6 systems? Sandhi, Vigraha, Yama, Asana, Dvaidha. Sorry, there is a spelling mistake. It should be Dvaidha. It is not Dvedha. And Ashrayana. These are the 6 forms. Sandhi is making friends with the enemy to avoid the war. Through what? Through logic, through love, through care and a vision. Because war only brings destruction. War brings pain, suffering. War loses all the near and dear ones. War makes a tremendous, there is no word which we can express. It is only pain. War can never bring joy. Except for the person who wins the war. In the name of winning the war, it may bring a very, very minutest level of joy. But that also disappears when they see the destruction in front of us. Today, we have so much of confrontations all over the world between two or three nations only because of ego. only because of that arrogance of power, position, and to establish destruction in the opponent country. This has to change. All our missiles, Swami Tejamanji Puja Guruji always says, we have got guided missiles in the hands of misguided people. Think. Guided missiles. We have so perfect technology of missiles. The missile will search for the target and hit the target. You cannot escape a missile, it is said. It can go in any direction. That is the level of technology today. Think. But that is not what is being humane. Humane is when I keep my weapons for the sake of self protection, but not for destruction. Therefore, every means have to be attempted to avoid destruction. This utilization of the means to avoid war and make friends with the opposite camp is called as sandhi. The second is vigraha. What is vigraha? To involve in war. To teach a lesson to the opponent. And who has to teach a lesson to whom? The righteous nation will have to teach a lesson to the unrighteous nation and then teach them a lesson. When they are unable to understand the goodness. When they don't respect that ability or that coming forward to making friends and avoiding the war, if they are not able to understand, then we have to teach them a lesson in their own language. This is a very common phrase. Teach them in their own language. For that, sometimes war is inevitable. There are some people who will not understand otherwise. It's one jerk, like even children. Why go up to big nations? At our home, how much of war is going on between each other? Isn't it? When children don't stop crying, when they go on being adamant and this one, father or mother gives one thappad on the face. Is it not? Then what happens? The child gets one jerk and then it becomes quiet. So thappad is required. Not out of dvesha, not out of hatred, but out of care. Therefore, sometimes war is required. Kauravas did not budge. Is it not? Bhagavan Sri Krishna as well as Pancha Pandavas, they came down from kingdom to 5 needle tip space. Even that when they did not give, then war is imminent. It has to be fought. Therefore, Bhagavan Sri Krishna induced Arjuna. He said, you must war. You must wage the war. Why? They deserve it. You cannot escape from war. Yudhyasva vigata jwaraha, he said. Therefore, this involvement in the war for the sake of dharma samsthapanarthaya is called vigraha. Yama, making the first move. Isn't it? Who blew the conch? Think. Bhishma Pitama had to blow the conch because this fellow was talking all nonsense. Duryodhana. Therefore, to avoid him, to change the situation, he blew. Now he became the first introducer of the war. The first move of the war was taken by Bhishma Pitamaha. Think. The one who moves first is responsible for the war. That is the logic. Krishna did not initiate anyone to start the war. He was prepared. He even prepared Arjuna. But who started? Bhishma Pitamaha blew the conch. So this starting a war is called Yama. Asana, sitting and waiting. Waiting for what? For the other person to start the war. So that blame does not come on me, blame goes on the other person. So this waiting period is called as asana. Dvaidha, creating discord between the enemy camps. This is one way in this one. To create difference of opinion between them only and thereby make them weak. Once they become weak, then we can overpower them. This is one way. It's one among the warfare. Ashrayana, seeking help of a third person to win the war with the enemy. These are all the 6 methods, 6 systems of warfare, and Bhagavan knew all these 6 systems. And in Mahabharata, in the Kurukshetra war, Bhagavan uses all of them to win over Kauravas. The Mahabharata is now not our topic, and we are not going to describe what are all the things he did, etc. That is not our subject matter. Therefore, with this, we conclude for today, and will continue with Havir Harihi tomorrow, a very beautiful nama of Bhagavan. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.